to provide the jobs. They never forgave him. They hated him. All these people today, hypocrites, crocodile tears. It's all ridiculous. And the response then of the D.C. establishment and beyond was to create a Get Barry task force in the Department of Justice. And we've seen it. We've seen this same thing before, right? There's a Get Spitzer task force that brought him down and so forth. Get Barry task force entrapped him with a sex operative and some, I guess, crack cocaine. But that was not the reason. The reason was that he was providing these jobs. And you have to remember, the FBI has a program, the infamous Frühmenschen, primitive men, so-called, right, going back to J. Edgar Hoover, racist. The Frühmenschen said that any black elected official will be targeted, any of them. And this started with Martin Luther King, and it's gone on to the present day. Irrespective of the merits, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, anybody black is targeted. And then we have the example, Bill Cosby. Well, what's with Bill Cosby? He is now accused of all sorts of things. Right? A lot of it may be true. I don't know. What I do know is that most of this stuff is 20, 30, 40 years in the past. One woman has come forward. She said, why? It was in 1965 that guy came after me. Well, I have to ask, why now? What's going on? This guy's not at the top of his career. He doesn't have a weekly sitcom. It looks to me like this is Operation Frühmenschen, the systematic attack and discrediting of any black official or person who's famous. I would also say that the attack on Cosby is in some way an attack on Obama. Try that one. We'll be back in a minute.
Hi, I'm John Rainey, Chief Financial Officer of United Airlines, and I'm honored to be the National Chair for the 2015 March for Babies campaign for the March of Dimes. United is a proud supporter of the March of Dimes mission to improve the health of babies and fight premature birth. We're helping the March of Dimes fund breakthroughs in research and community programs that help more mothers have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. Please join us in working together for stronger, healthier babies. Visit marchofdimes.org.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
If you need to say happy birthday, happy anniversary, thank you, or simply I'm thinking of you, ProFlowers.com is the key. ProFlowers has stunning bouquets, like the best-selling 100 blooms for $19.99. Plus, ProFlowers will include a glass vase for free. Sending someone a wonderful surprise of beautiful flowers sent fresh from the fields is easy. Choose the bouquet you like, pick the delivery date, and each order is 100% guaranteed. Plus, all bouquets from ProFlowers are guaranteed to last at least 7 full days. Beautiful, fragrant flowers, picked fresh and sent to your loved one for lasting enjoyment. To get this incredible savings and send someone 100 gorgeous blooms with a free vase for $19.99, Go to proflowers.com. Click the blue microphone in the top right corner and enter code PLOW. That's proflowers.com. Click the mic and enter code PLOW.
On Facebook, on the news, and in conversations with friends, we're bombarded every day with advice on how to be healthier, from gluten-free and non-GMO diets to how much exercise and sleep the body needs. But how much have you heard about alkalizing the body? AlkaVision Plasma pH drops are a holistic and natural way to get your body's pH levels back in balance. Just a few drops in water will help your body rid itself of harmful waste. And even the healthiest of diets can be complemented with your daily use of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops. Who isn't looking for more vibrance, vigor, and energy? Now buy 2 bottles of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops and get $10 off your order. Visit alkavision.com or call 800-518-7615. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops are packed with a powerful combination of the most alkaline minerals and compounds. Open the door to greater health, vitality, and zest for life. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health. Call 800-518-7615 or head to alkavision.com.
UnseenNow.com, proud sponsor of GCN. Unseen Now's unparalleled encryption tools keep your communications secure. GC.
Welcome to our third segment of the second hour here at the Thanksgiving edition of World Crisis Radio, and happy Thanksgiving belated to all. You'll be hearing this on the Saturday after Black Friday, and then from there on. Remember, an economy, if 70% of your economy is consumer goods, you're in big trouble. You better have it the other way around. You better have 70% capital goods and 30% consumer goods. With that 30%, giving you a much higher standard of living than what you've got here. But think of it. If we're hunting and gathering, there it's 100% consumer goods. There's nothing else. There's only hunting and gathering. So we're in a depression. Now let's look at the situation. Last week, we talked about this worldwide frisson about how everybody is afraid of deflation. And well, might be. I tried without success to find an article from the Washington Post, as I recall, from about 1988, 1989, after the big crash of 1987, about deflation. And the way it works is this: if you see prices begin to fall, and if key purchasing managers begin to think, well, I really need some of this stuff, but I think I'm going to postpone the purchase until next week or next month or next quarter or next semester or next year, you gradually go into a slowdown, and it's not exactly a panic, but it turns to panic when people realize what is happening. That is to say, stagflation, deflation. You're not likely to find any pure model of these things, but deflation can slow an economy very, very markedly. You can make an argument that the Japanese zombie banks post-1994, 1995 are certainly an example of that, and that the entire world is now threatened by this. Let me also warn everybody, for your own good, if we go into deflation, the most dangerous thing to have is debt. Read about it in Surviving the Cataclysm. And again, if you want to keep up with my courses, you better get yourself a copy of Surviving the Cataclysm, your guide through the worst financial crisis in human history. If you have debt, then under deflationary conditions, that debt is more and more expensive to pay back. It comes harder and harder. If you have $10,000 of credit card debt, that can grow to the equivalent of $20,000, $30,000 if you get that kind of deflation. So this has to be avoided. And the one merit, I guess, of Draghi, right, Draghi of Goldman Sachs, is that he realizes that there's a danger of deflation, and he's scared, and he wants to pump QE. He wants to go out and buy, unfortunately, mortgage-backed securities. Now, don't do it. Don't do that. With the same money, the European Central Bank or the Fed or the Bank of Japan or even the Bank of China, Bank of Russia, use your money for 0% long-term loans to build infrastructure. They all say demand is weak, demand is weak. Well, create some demand. The demand is contracts, shovel-ready projects, fast rail, maglev rail, new electricity grids, ports, docks, water systems, canals, locks, public buildings, the entire array of things. We have, by the way, Alan Blinder of the formerly of the Fed, right, back to Princeton, is wondering why is it that productivity is stagnating? Well, of course, in the modern U.S. economy, productivity doesn't mean anything anymore because productivity is often how many derivatives did you issue today? That's not productivity. But the reason for it is it's down. It used to be 3% in the up through the 60s into the 70s, end of Bretton Woods. It was 3% a year productivity increase. Now it's much less because, among other things, the infrastructure is decaying. So we have long trips and lower productivity. So all of this is true. So watch out on the debt front. If you can unload debt, this is the time. Stock market is high. Debt is dangerous. Good time to lighten up on the debt. Right? Take some profits off the stock market table and put that in there. And of course, I don't know your individual situation, so this is a very general piece of analysis based on knowledge and belief, and I can't guarantee the results. So now look, the slowdown in Germany. The second quarter in Germany was minus 0.1% negative growth. This quarter that's just ended, the third quarter, it's plus 0.1% growth. This is absolutely pathetic. If that's the locomotive, you're in big trouble. And indeed, we are. And Japan is the same thing. Now, you'll remember that Draghi came out and said that he wanted to start buying up. He wanted to have quantitative easing. He wanted to start buying rotten derivatives. Well, it's good that he wants to do something, but he's doing the wrong thing. Now, even worse in many ways is Jens Weidmann, W-E-I-D-M-A-N-N. In a speech this week in Madrid, Weidmann had a barely veiled attack on Draghi. So this is the typical Bundesbank against the world, well, Bundesbank against Southern Europe in this case. Weidmann's line is there are very high legal hurdles to having the European Central Bank buy. He doesn't say buy rotten derivatives. Weidmann seems to think it's okay to buy rotten derivatives. Buy as many as those as you want, but buy sovereign bonds. You shouldn't buy the government bonds of European Union countries, and that's apparently in the charter of this crazy European Central Bank. Well, this is baloney, and in an emergency, you've got to act according to paramount national interest or paramount national interests. Let me suggest my mediation of the Draghi-Weidmann dispute, right? Tarpley for Fed head. Here I go. Tarpley for Fed head says what you need to do is get around this, first of all, by buying government bonds with the overwhelming emphasis being infrastructure bonds. And infrastructure bonds does not mean refinancing something that exists. It's got to be a bond which causes a construction project to start. That bond. That's a good bond. And you want collateral? You got it. You have the maglev, you have the reactor, you have the electricity grid, whatever that project is, that's the collateral. That should shut up Weidmann and company. More broadly, obviously, it's absolutely grotesque. I mean, the European Central Bank, it looks like it's the design of a straitjacket that you impose on yourself. Suffice it to say, the U.S. Fed has the power to do open market operations, right? One thing you can do with open market operations is somebody tries to organize a speculative attack on your government bonds, you can use the superior power of a central bank to